Oh, hey everybody, it is 4:43 in the morning and we start the latest vlog with a little bit of excitement. Alright, that's my own ring system there, but wanted to show you guys basically setting up a 140 plus car intermodal train. So I've been collecting well cars and adding to this train now for quite a few years. It started with the Cato 53-foot well cars that came in the 3-packs, and most recently the last addition was the Scale Train's 53-foot refrigerator containers, including a KLLM, which had previously not been provided by anybody. So I've had some custom 53-foot containers made. I've just been chipping away at this, waiting for these KLLMs and a couple other variances of the Scale Trains ones to arrive. Now I've got everything in place to build this massive intermodal train. So come with me as I start pulling the components for this, and then I actually build it. As you can see, I've got to move all these Cato 53 footers and Rapido. Also, some just came in from Rapido, and some spine cars and some Walther's mainline. Got to move all those out to, there's down there too, out to the layout room, and a whole bunch of containers here. Alright, step one in this task is getting all my duckies in a row. And if you wonder why I'm talking quietly, I've got guest family here, so I'm trying to be quiet. It is now 5 o'clock in the morning. But here we have 140 well cars and then 6 spine cars. So I've got everything except for these spine cars, which have weird side labels that I hate that Athearn did. I've got all that turned to where you can see the actual numbers in case you're wanting to chase something down for yourself online. Now, let's talk about availability real quick. So, this Athearn 5-pack that just released, it may still be in stock. It released not too long ago, maybe a few months ago. I lose track of time. These Walther's mainline 5-unit 40-foot rebuilds went quick, so those are a little harder to find. You're probably kind of confined to eBay or, finding those hole-in-the-wall hobby shops that might have them. These are definitely pretty much gone from most hobby shops. These are the Cato Gunderson Maxi 4s, and as you can see, the prices were all over the place on these. Some were 110 I paid, some were 68. Now they go closer to that 110 mark online. It looks like the lowest I paid was 64 at one point. So these are getting really hard to find. Definitely in hobby shops, they're probably gone. These Walther's mainline 53-foot 3-packs are older, so pretty much gone. Scale Trains has announced another run of their backpackers, so these are gone, but you can find them on eBay and such. But you can also pre-order more. I love these TTX patched backpackers. More down here with the, looks like I got the label turned again because you can't ever tell what side the labels are going to put on stuff. Those are the 5-unit 40-foot rebuilt well cars. So 2 more packs of those. These are my original well cars. I've had these the longest. This is a Walther's Gold Line NSC 3-unit 53-foot well cars. These were articulated. They had a drawbar that you could switch out for couplers, and then individual ones as well. These are the newest Walters mainline 53-foot NSC articulated well cars, and 3-packs also sold very, very quickly. But I've been kind of studying these intermodals that come through where I live and configuring this based on that. The train we'll be building is a 53-foot and 40-foot container train consist. This is the Rapido breast cancer 53-footer, regular 53-foot as delivered from Rapido, and then just released at the time of this filming, I don't know when this video will actually go online, is the Ferromix 53-footers from Rapido. So, and TTX patch. So those just hit the shelves. So that's 140 intermodal well cars between 53-foot and 40-foot. Here, there's 6, so it'll be a train of 146 cars total. There is 6 spine cars from Athearn. Now, I could have done Bowser, but I heard the Bowsers kind of were very, very fragile, so I went ahead and went with the Athearn spine cars on this. So those will have trailers probably in the middle or at the end of the train. Now, one thing to note is this is going to be kind of experimental as I go, because I'm going to put all the cars without containers on first, run it, make sure it's holding up, like see where I need to put DPU and other locomotives added in, and then it may not weigh too much considering, you know, the well car and the containers are pretty light, but probably going to need at least 3 locomotives on this. Maybe 2, depends on the brand, but we'll be experimenting and getting things kind of configured. I would like 53 up front and 40 in the rear like I've seen on consists around here, but we'll see. Here's the Prime Intermodal custom containers I've had made. I've had 10 of those made. I probably should have, we had the wrong type of refrigerator unit, but I should have went ahead and had the silver lines painted on each side. STG Logistics is a recent Athearn release of container just that came in. We've got a ton of Scale-Trains containers that just came in, including those very rare Amazon ones that I snatched up that they only had for a limited amount of time. So now it's time to get the containers in here. All right, let's talk containers. We have 53-foot containers from Scale-Trains, the most recent release, those KLMs. Absolutely beautifully done on those. In the same release, we have the CR Englands. Keep in mind there's multiples of all of these, so digging through here, there's also the Hub Group, and these are all refrigerator cars. Alliance Shippers, which I did see locally, a couple of those containers. For the trailers, the spine cars, we have these UPS trailers, and we also have container cars that'll mix in. But I have 4 UPS trailers from Walters Scene Master. I don't know if I went over CR England or not, but that's in this run. Previous runs, got a ton of these Amazons. I'll only put 20 on the train because I haven't seen more than 20 on the trains through here that I'm modeling, so I'll put about 20 so on there. I've got about double that though. I kind of bought a lot. Also on this run, most recent run, Scale-Trains has got the JB Hunt Intermodal refrigerator cars. Deeper, we have the original JB Hunt Intermodals from a recent release, but not the most recent. And then there are some Walters Scene Masters mixed in here, especially when you get to the regular JB Hunts, because there's a lot of them in this train. Here is the Hub Group Patch Stout, which is really rare and nice. And also you'll see like I said, some 40 footers, some Atlas, Swift Intermodal, and EMP are in the mix. And as we get down to the 40 footers, like I said, I've got a mix of different brands too, including Walther Scene Master on those. So not all of these are like high quality. Some of them are the more budget friendly containers further down in, especially here. But we have containers going all the way down in here. So every container that's going to be in this train I've seen on the rails myself, rail fanning or watching virtual rail fan on YouTube in the local area. So some people may think it's as easy as railing the cars and running them when you're running a really, really long train that's prototypical in length, but that's often not the case. And here I'm working on these Walther's 40-foot well cars. These things are a really great value, but they do need tweaks, and I'm going to run you through some of the tweaks I think they need in order to run better. So the first one is that Walther's has put 36-inch wheels in the center 3 pair of wheel sets, and they put 36-inch wheels or 33-inch wheels at the end. So changing all these to 33s, and I use Intermountain 33-inch wheel sets, which I think are the absolute best for this. It's pretty easy, but it reduces drag on these, and I got that from another YouTube user. I'll try to remember to put his channel in the, flash it up on the screen or down in the description, but it's really easy. Hurts your fingers after a little while, but just flip it, switch it out like that, and then you have far less rub. You're having a little bit of rub on that metal when it's on track. So that's just a simple demonstration of how you switch out the wheel sets. You just simply pull on the actual trucks a little bit and they'll pop right out. You don't want to pull too much because you can really loosen it up. Obviously these come off, and so it's easy to access these as well. I just switched it back to 36 because that was just a demonstration for this set, which is shot because a pin broke. So the pin breaking was my fault. I just was trying to hollow out the hole. And speaking of which, that's the next step. So sometimes these pins don't rotate freely in the holes. It needs a little play this way. Just a little bit of play. See how that one has it? Well, some of them don't. And they will be real rigid and stiff. Like this is an example of rigid and stiff. It's not moving at all, hardly, without a whole lot of pull. So if you take a little file, you can either widen that hole or file this down, the pin down, but I think that's metal. I don't know if the pin is plastic. It broke pretty easy. I think it might be plastic, but my suggestion is just widen the hole a little bit, which is what I did. So that's step 2 of how to make these run better. Now there's one more thing that you want to do. I've got here some Labelle 134 PTFE. This is a dry powder lubricant. You can use a wet lubricant if you want. Labelle has a lot of products. As we zoom in here, all I'm doing is putting just a dash of this stuff. See how it creates a powder? And then when I put this on the track, that works in there and makes it a lot more looser to turn. So those are the 3 steps that I took to make these better. Also, you may need to add weights. So I have these car tire weights I bought in bulk online. And if a car is not tracking well, you just plop it down in the well if you're running empties, or if you're running with containers, most containers will open up at the bottom and you can put them in the bottom. These even come with sticky double sides so you can cut them, do whatever to weigh your train down. So running bare table, which is what we're going to do, And one of the two videos at the end is going to be one of the ways that you kind of test this. I think it's better to run bare table first, because if you can work out most of the kinks with bare table, the only thing you may have when you add the containers is additional weight. But with 3 or 4 locos, including a DPU, you're going to be fine. Another thing about these cars I forgot to mention is the wheel sets. They need to be loosened about 2 turns. Need a lot of play in them because the rigidity of the pin system kind of causes derails often, so be sure to loosen those up. Alright, all the Walthers ones are done. Now I'm working on another issue with these Intermountain well cars. They're in 3 packs. You see this little flap right here? Maybe you don't think you do, but you just have to lift that up a little bit to seat each one of those. Okay, we have everything railed, and what we're doing is checking the bare table run here. With just 2 scale trains locomotives, I'm able to pull about 150 wells, which is good. Question is, will they stay railed? Because before I go adding containers, some containers will have weight. I want to get that tested out and make sure we have a smooth running bare table run that I'll do a video of with just no containers. We're over here on the bridge scene, and we have these Katos, and these Kato cars, 53-foot wells, have some really funky couplers in a lot of cases, and if those don't hold up, you want to swap those out with KDs. So I've only had issues with like a couple couplers out of all of these, so it's really not bad. But that's kind of a quirk of the Kato cars. So every different manufacturer has its different quirks. So Athearn's really light. You've got Intermountain, which is also very light. Class 1 Model Works seems like a really solid product. I've got one car I'll show you real quick after this little clip on that. But there's also Scale Trains, which is actually also a pretty good 40-foot well car. The Walthers needs a little adjusting, even though it's a really good value. But these cars all have their little quirks, especially when you're trying to run well over, you know, 100 car train. So this could approach 200 cars if I had my expansion built. I've got the stuff for it, but it'll be, I'll let you count. I'll just put it that way. It's still going to be very, very long, a very, very long intermodal train. All right, here's that Class 1 TWF 10, I believe it's a well car that's pretty rare. There's only a few left out in service still. 48-foot max capacity. These will be carrying 40 feet or 40-foot containers. I've only got a segment of 6 48-foot well cars in this train just to kind of represent the 48-foot fleet. Ideally, I wanted 53 and 40, but with that one set of 5 Walthers, the pin breaking off, I decided to go and add a set of 5 of 48, and then I remembered, oh, I've got these Class 1 cars. Let me put out the TTX patch, most modern one I have. So this will be in the consist as well, but this car is pretty solid. Had no issues with it standalone. And a lot of cars I haven't. And there's also going to be Athearn spine cars at the end of the consist that are also pretty flawless. So Scale Trains, Class 1 Model Works, Athearn spine cars, and all of the Walthers 53-foot well cars have been flawless. So this is where the work continues with putting containers, over 300 of them, onto all of the cars. And this is going to take me a few hours as well. This is why this intermodal train is going to stay on this outer main line for quite a while. But we've got Scale Trains operator containers that were recently released. We've got a mixture of Athearns here. There's also Walthers mainline. There's some trailers for the spine cars. there's just a nice mixture in here. Now these JB Hunt Intermodal, you're going to see a lot of these in the run by, probably towards the beginning of the train. But there's a lot of variety in this train, so be sure to check out the whole train, because I've been studying local intermodal runs and they have a ton of these up front, and then it starts to kind of basically become some variety. Also very hard to find now, these Scale Trains Amazon containers are going to be in the run, so be sure to check out all the run, but I'm going to start putting all these containers in the cars. Also, if you see this little logo here, that means this car has sound. And I've picked up some 9-volt batteries to go into these cars, so I'll be installing those as well for this run. So some of you may want to know how the Scale Train sound car or containers work. You just shimmy the bottom loose. Usually have to spread the sides. That pops off the top. Then you've got a little case for your 9-volt battery. So that's an easy plug up. I had to get it turned around there. So now it's in. And we put the lid back on. Make sure the refrigerator unit is lined up. It's got a spring switch. And it's going to cycle on and off however you want it to, but there's also a button here. Okay, I've got this figured out. The button has several settings for volume and then off, so each press the volume goes up eventually or down eventually, and then it turns off. So that's how these operate. Don't want the train this loud, so I'll be adjusting these for sure. Another really cool thing about these, to turn them on, you can also just touch the top there and turn it back off. I think it's the spring inside. Making progress here. We've got a lot of the 53 footers loaded up. JB Hunts as far as the eye can see for the first quarter to a third of this train, because like I said, locally we see a lot of JB Hunts. So yes, I still have Halloween stuff out, but these JB Hunts are going quite a ways. And then we also have Hub Group and a bunch of others we're going to start peppering in past the JB Hunts. That is what 300 plus containers worth of mess looks like. Luckily for me, I have children in the age of wanting to make extra money, so they're about to clean this up instead of me, which is always nice. Well guys, I had a lot of fun doing this video. For you who don't know, for those of you who don't know, this is how I started out in YouTube. I just liked the perspective of having the camera down at track level and filming trains go by. So this video is really a long time coming, considering I wanted to essentially make this layout something that could run really, really long trains. Now you'll have to do the count yourself, but it was a very long prototypical train. It did take 5 locomotives total, really, to get it up to the speed I want. You'll see the run-bys with Bear Table only had 4 locomotives, and maybe even a slow run-by I might put in there had 4 locomotives, but I noticed some kind of grinding as the wheels were trying to get traction on the rail, so really I needed 5 Scale Trains locomotives, 4 on the point and 1 DPU to get this thing running right. So overall, I was really happy with how this turned out. And I had a lot of fun building this train. I hope you enjoyed this vlog and the time with me. Let's leave you with the run-bys of the train, and we'll see you next time right here on the channel. Take care. We've got 4 locomotives on the point, 1 DPU. Let's go ahead and get this massive intermodal train underway.
Many of the products you see in this video are available at trainworld.com. Since 1968, this family-owned business has been serving the needs of the modeling community with 2 New York brick-and-mortar store locations in Brooklyn and Long Island, plus their vast array of online items. Shop 24/7 at trainworld.com.